You gotta get your head in the game. You gotta get your head in the game. You gotta get your head in these free apps that you can use to effectively learn languages all on your own this year, all by yourself. No money, no problem. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Naz, and here I speak all things language learning, where right now I'm specifically sharing my journey, my growth learning Spanish. And if you want to join me on that journey and learn and grow with me, then consider subscribing. So there are lots of helpful apps out there, and by all means use them, milk them. But also, I think that some people are sleeping on the ones that are honestly right there in front of you, that you're not leveraging and maximizing enough to really maximize your potential in whatever language you're exploring this year. And for example, one of those amazing apps that you're probably not using as effectively as you could is the one you're using right now to watch this video. Yeah, YouTube. And before you click off this video, please hear me out. I think YouTube is such a powerful platform that people can use to learn just about anything. I love to call it like a university. I love to say it's a YouTube university, because quite literally, if you want to know how to do anything, YouTube University to the rescue. And of course, a lot of persons use it already for like language learning tips videos, but also I think there are lots of other ways that you can leverage this platform. Coming in hot is comprehensible inputs. I have been really using YouTube a lot these days, a comprehensible input, because this may be the secret sauce that you're looking for to master and become fluent in just about any language. Is comprehensible input, where through listening, reading, or watching something, you're immersing yourself in that target language. But it also has to be something that you can use context clues to understand. It doesn't have to be super advanced, and it shouldn't be too easy, but it should be something that you're able to at least comprehend, even just by using the context clues. And by doing that, your brain is absorbing all that information, and before you know it, you're oozing out that language like breathing, because you've immersed in it so much that it becomes a part of your subconscious. You're dreaming in the language, you're speaking the language, your brain has cemented the new sentence structure, vocabulary, and you're gonna feel almost compelled to pour back out what you've been pouring in. And quite literally, if you're looking for content to immerse in the language, why not YouTube? Make sure you're watching content that would interest you in English. So it's not only important to just immerse the language itself, but I think it's even more effective to immerse in the language in content that is actually interesting to you. It's likely to result in like a higher retention rate for you, which is more effective for obvious reasons, right? You don't want to be zoned out. You want to actually pay attention and care about what you're listening to or watching, right? For obvious reasons. So yeah, watching native speakers is key, because you can listen to how they pronounce their words, because learning to speak early is really crucial. But learning how to speak the right way early is also very important. So you can literally imitate. I think it's so important to imitate native speakers when you're learning their language. And on that note, another way you can use YouTube is by using these videos to practice the shadow technique, where basically you're watching a video and you're shadowing the creator. So they say something, you pause it, you try to repeat what they said, but the exact same way they said it, the pronunciation, the intonation, everything, the same pauses, everything, right? And by doing this, you're learning how to not only speak, but speak like a native, which is important, especially if you don't want to sound like a gringo in the case of Spanish, right? I think you should also go a step further to like record yourself with, you know, repeating what these native speakers are saying, so you can go back and listen to it and maybe even like match it up. Hey, you could do that. You could like record yourself and then like match it up with what the person said, and maybe see how close you actually were in imitating the speaker. Also very important, and I love to do this, is make sure you also read the comments for these videos. The comments will be people from that same culture who are also natives in the language, right? Reading the comments, you're also going to be learning vocabulary, maybe colloquial phrases. I've learned also vocabulary just from scrolling through the comments, and you don't have to read all of them. So this is an obvious one, but you know, watching YouTubers who are teaching you the target language, you know, tips, strategies, resources, recommendations, all that jazz is effective, obviously. But a bonus one, which is how I go a step further, and this also helps with my comprehensible input, is I watch native Spanish YouTubers who teach English. So obviously they're teaching English in Spanish, which is also pretty cool because as somebody who is passionate about language learning, I'm learning language learning vocabulary by watching these YouTubers, and I'm learning English, which obviously I already speak, so I don't necessarily need to employ these tips, but it's just strictly comprehensible input. And if you want recommendations for like YouTubers to watch to do all of this, I'm actually going to be sharing my favorite YouTubers to practice Spanish in my next video, so definitely consider subscribing and hitting my notification bell so that you don't miss that. Now, this one is completely optional, but you can quite literally create your own YouTube channel dedicated to documenting your language learning journey, which is essentially what I am doing with this channel. And even if you decide to like private your videos and maybe just like send them to close friends to critique you or whatever, that's fine too. Just get creative. Like one time I was even like watching videos, and you know how speaking Spanish or speaking your target language, one of the goals is to reach a point where you can think in that language as you're speaking it, right? And as somebody learning Spanish, I still struggle sometimes with thinking in English. Like an automatic translator goes off in my brain when I'm speaking Spanish sometimes, and it's really annoying. Force yourself to like watch English YouTubers, the ones you typically watch in your native language, and whatever they're saying, try to think in your target language in your head. So you're translating what they're saying basically in your head, in your target language. So for me, I'm watching English YouTubers and I'm translating what they said in my head in Spanish. And if I don't know how to translate something, then obviously that is a point where I can say, hey, this is something that I need to learn how to say. So be creative with it. I mean, YouTube is a free platform. It's a really helpful platform. Use it to your advantage. Milk it. There is so much gold sitting on this platform. So maybe you want to practice comprehensible input, but you don't want to pay for a Netflix subscription. Okay, fine. YouTube is free. Watch native speakers on YouTube. That is still comprehensible input. You have podcasts on here. You have story times on here in your target language. Research it, watch it, learn, and grow.